motherfuckers. Welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to EPIC39 with myself, Zakarawanya, and of course, the ever effervescent and incredibly Dutch Several Sheep sat next to me. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. It's so good to be here, all the way in the UK. It's far away, but we, of course, no else a spot for EPIC than the UK. Of course, not Kettering, but yeah.
I
We
mean,
got there.
either way, it's lovely to be here. This is our first Epic LAN as well, so sort of getting to grips with the environment. I mean, everyone is getting to grips with the environment in Wolverhampton for the first time, and then on top of that, we've got Kettering kind of, disappearing away, and we're coming in all the way over from the Netherlands. I gotta stress that this guy made a huge journey to be here today, and well, not in vain either, because we've had some really wonderful games so far, haven't we?
Yeah, and to open up round number one, it was, of course, with the seedings, the way they go, you have number one seeds all playing against the number six seeds in all the groups, and yeah, I got the statistics. Jesus, I got the statistics, and it's 31 rounds in total have been won by the losers. So it was in 10 games, it was a 16-3 on average.
I was trying to do the maths there in my head as you were thinking. 10 games to have 31 rounds between the losers is actually a massive gulf between those kind of tops and bottoms. We've seen as well across this event so far. You know, we've got some of the really big teams. We've got Next in Line. We've got 7 AM. We've got some proper teams here for Don as well. Of course, we can't forget about them. And then you've got a number of mixed teams involved as well, and that generally is kind of in and around that bottom seed. That's generally who we've had, and so because of this, we've seen a neighbours game, which is one of the mixed teams, but my word, they are incredible as a lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, just the level
Yeah.
of players they've got, and you guys saw that before as well with the other duo that was on before. Index and Timo, we saw them win 16-4, an incredibly slow game, all things considered, but my word, did they absolutely demolish on that map.
Yeah, BIM and International, they look quite organized for a mixed team as well. So yeah, it was a bit surprising that BIM and International actually played the way they did, but yeah, the neighbors, they're the ones to beat.
I mean, they're sort of one of those teams that we're looking at, and I think all the games we're watching today, we're expecting at least one of the teams from the kind of matchups, and as it gets a little bit closer as we go through, because of the seeding and the way that it works, I think we're hoping that we see kind of teams get a little bit closer, and that's exactly what we saw when we saw 7 p.m. play Verdant in the last game that we saw as well, 16-9, but my word, did 7 p.m. hold their ground, even though they only ended up getting the 9 rounds.
Yeah, 390 or 360, 390, 360. Of course, the only member from K10 here, next to Ethan, who is our cameraman, all throughout the event. They still got some Irish guys together, and yeah, they managed to at least put up a good performance.
Yeah, and I think they kind of showed that they have got something to them. Of course, the teams actually don't need that many wins to get through the group stages. It's not impossible for the teams to get through. 7 p.m. I think still on track to be able to make their way through. 2 wins is the very least that they need, and then 3 wins more than that, they are expected to then go through to the next stage of the competition. But kind of ignoring the games that we've seen already, everybody's seen those already. What have we got coming up? What's sat next to me right on that screen just over there?
It is 7 a.m. versus Linx Legacy. We spoke with both teams, and both teams are expecting it to be a very close game. The echo is messing with me a bit. But yeah, it's gonna be a very close game. But Linx Legacy already had the closest possible game. It was 15-15 against the Cardiff Pirates.
Yeah, and that was sort of a surprising one as well. I mean, sort of while this has been going on, we've had the casters casting, but we've also just been making our way around the LAN hall as we've been here, kind of, going our separate ways while we're off stream and looking around and seeing it all. But I did get an opportunity to watch the actual sort of game behind them. I sat behind the Linx Legacy guys. I had a chat with them. I had a chat with Moz, who is incredibly excited for this game ahead. Said he's going to get 40 kills, by the way, and I am holding him to that. But as I was watching that game, Cardiff, they were expecting to beat them. They went into it expecting that they were going to win, and I think it was on Ancient that I was watching them play. And the fact that Cardiff managed to come and get 15 rounds against them, I mean, it leaves them a little bit vulnerable. It's kind of that opportunity that then 7 a.m. have, as on paper, sort of the better team. Yeah. They can now say, all right, we've seen some vulnerability. That's the map we'll go to.
Yeah. And do you think that they go to Ancient again, 7 a.m.? Because they've been playing I don't think on this tournament yet, but they have been playing Ancient quite often.
I've been sort of, again, talking to the teams about their map pools that they've got, the maps that they're ready for. And when you speak to them about what they want to ban, what they want to pick, obviously, they generally don't like to tell us because then we tell you guys on the stream, and so they don't want that out there. But when you talk to every single one of them, they say, listen, we're comfortable on all 7 maps. We don't have an insta-ban. There's maps that we're kind of less interested in, the ones that we're not so hot on, the ones we don't really want it to go to. But you'd see that in the bans that they get. In a best of 1, we're always going to go to the maps that both teams want. So coming into this, to be honest, the map, it's really more on Linx Legacy if they're happy to go to Ancient again, rather than if 7 a.m. can push them to it. In a best of 3, that's where 7 a.m. maybe can bring in a map that they don't. But on a best of 1, both teams are going to be happy with whatever we get.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think also after the game, I talked a bit with the Linx Legacy guys, and they were quite adamant that they were going to get some revenge from themselves, mostly on Team 7 a.m. That 50-15, that primed them, I think. I think they're going to be way more dangerous than they possibly were against the Cardiff Pirates.
I mean, as well, the Cardiff Pirates, it's worth saying they went 15-15 against them, but they played against Been Drinking the game before and still won 16-1. Yeah. So, they've got some sauce in them still. They are still able to do a job. It's just kind of coming back into it. And, a lot of teams in Epic lands of old and the other ones that we've seen, the teams play in, we see all the time a team that seems like they're going to absolutely demolish, get destroyed by a Seed 6 team. Yeah. So this time at least we've seen kind of expected results, and the weirdest one we've seen thus far has been a 15-15. End of the day, they didn't lose. It's still on the cards, and they're still waiting for it. But yeah, I really feel like this Linx Legacy side, even though they are technically the underdogs, this is our first map that we're watching where both teams are coming into this kind of a little bit closer than the last two that we've seen, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw it like from this match on. It was a bit more difficult to select what we are actually gonna watch on the stream, because so many matches are like, I want to see this. Like, I want to see this happening.
Yeah.
And I think the volume in the arena, I mean, it was mostly Roy and Retro getting loud, but I think during this day and especially into tomorrow, it's gonna be volume all the way up. Don't think we're gonna hear them here though.
I mean, they'd have to make a real loud noise to get it all the way up here.
Something crazy has to happen.
Honestly, I don't put it past Christ's at the moment. Christ is loud in that hall.
He'll run up here during rounds
just to shout
scream,
it through.
just to shout. Yeah, probably. So.
Yeah, and the games we've got as well, because obviously we've not just got 7 AM versus Linx Legacy, we've got more than that coming up too, with Next in Line versus El Fatiak, which of course is a reference to that infamous Steven Gerrard clip, which has been really memed everywhere, and I absolutely love watching a Scousman try and say something in Arabic, but there we go. The next two games we've got after this are mixed teams. So we've got Orgs versus the mixed teams. Obviously, you know, we've spoke about how the Orgs are favourites because they've got that kind of team cohesion. They've got that way to play together. But these mixed teams have got a little bit in them as well, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, you have a bit more freedom to not necessarily care about rules. So what might as well get two aggressive hoppers in, and you know, that could, and we've seen it happen. That is surprising. Like, if you get guys like Smuya in, for example, in the Neighbors, you're not gonna know what role he's gonna play, because Smuya is gonna do what he wants.
Yeah, he's just gonna do
So,
whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And both of these two teams that we're going to be watching now as well as Smuya's team, the Neighbors, they've all got coaches come with them, which is, you know, for a summer land as well for these guys coming into this, you know, some of them as a mixed team and some of them, you know, as sort of a fresher team on the scene or whatever it might be. Kind of not expecting a coach to come in every single time. I spoke as well quickly to some of the coaches that were kind of knocking around in the LAN center just to talk to them about kind of their role across this one. A lot of them are taking it a little bit more hands off, especially the ones on the Neighbors and the ones on those mixed teams. A lot more kind of just admin prep, bits and pieces like that. But in general, coming into this sheep, if you don't mind me asking, what advantage might a team with a coach have over a team that might not have one?
I mean, especially in this chaos, you aren't really able to prepare much. All right, it's not like you know the teams beforehand, but I think it was 10 o'clock yesterday before the games that the opponents actually got known. So preparing is, like, as a team as a whole, it's really difficult to do at such a LAN, and then a coach does lend that advantage, so the guys can just focus on their aim, and then the coach can actually focus on, hey, who are we playing on this game. And I think it is a bit of an advantage. And speaking about the next map, 7 AM, they brought the entire crew. Like, everyone is here.
They're decked out.
It is insane.
They are absolutely decked out.
Yeah.
They've got the chairs, they've got the banners, they've got it all sat around them at the moment.
Personal cameras. They have interviews set up. They have a 6th man. Yelm is here as well. He was a bit down about the games being boring from 7 AM, but hey, it might happen. I mean, they beat everyone. And we did somewhat qualify them as favorites, didn't we?
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
We were asked as well beforehand who we thought was going to win. I think Timo and Index both said the neighbours just because of the level of player that's on there. Less so kind of that cohesion. Obviously, they've all played together before as a mixed team, but
they live next to each other.
Yeah, they don't have that same kind of thing where 7am obviously play together in advanced and have everything going for them on that side of things. So really the one that we called as the one to look out for in the competition overall, and they agree with us, by the way, talking to them. They really think they can take the whole thing, and that confidence is great to have. As 7am come into this one, really our favourites. And I will say one of the things that they did point out was that Linx Legacy were the guys that wanted to talk about. They were the ones that wanted to say, we're the ones to beat here. And 7am really think that.
Yeah. And good news, as the Vitos have just arrived, it is Ancient.
Wow. Well, there we go.
So my prediction actually was correct.
Yeah, Linx, they actually didn't really care that they got 15-15. They just go to their favorite map and they move on. I mean, they said before that they were kind of hoping that Overpass would be the one they go to. They did say they had a full map pool, but Overpass really their sort of map, their playground, if you will. So yeah, seeing that one banned out pretty early, all things considered, by 7am. They were very much aware of that. I think they've only played against each other in official games once outside of this, so kind of fresh coming in. They didn't get those games beforehand to look through and prac and get an idea and counter strat. Obviously, there is a little bit of downtime in the morning, in the evenings to go through stuff, but I would be very surprised if these two teams know more than kind of that base level of, I know you're in advanced, I know you're in main. We can kind of play around that and kind of know roughly what you like to do. You're more passive, you're more aggressive, etc. But more than that, this is a game for the teams to play their own games rather than sort of counter-stratting the other team, which I think is fundamental UKCS and I love to see. Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of these guys know each other personally, of course. That is the nature of EPIC39, the nature of UKCS, I've noticed, as I've infiltrated the scene. But yeah, so everyone, like pretty much everyone knows someone from each team. And yeah, so that knowledge is always there. Like, I know he likes to play there, and I know where he's at. So it's going to be a good one.
They always know the vibe of the players. But anyway, I'm hearing in my ear that we're going to be jumping into the game straight away as both of these teams come into this excited and ready to take it the whole way. But Knife Round going to start at the very beginning. And 7am starting on the CT side, only for the Knife Round in these best of ones, obviously, because both teams get just as many bans and no one gets to pick first. One of these two teams will, of course, get the devil's choice of which side they want. And I think both of them are going to be hoping CT side.
Yeah, it is actually a very close one. And 7am.
Yeah, I think you would expect them to just exclamation mark stay, but a good start from them, obviously, to get the side that they want. It's I mean, basic to say, but when you get 15 rounds on the side that you want, you get obviously that full share of things. You get every kind of moment on there. Whereas when you're instead playing, on the side you don't want to have, you obviously will get fewer rounds on the side you do. So. Yeah, I mean, good to win the Knife Round. I think there was that Australian team long ago with Dick Stacey on that used to just throw the Knife Round every single time. But that's enough waffling from me because I think we're jumping straight in, Sheep.
Yeah, we are. And Linx Legacy had their false start mostly on the T side. That is where they had it rough in the first half. That's where they lost out. So I'm interested to see where this is going.
Yeah, and 7am on that CT side, they pushed in relatively aggressive into dark. It's a single player here as Vacancy just disappears a little bit, fades away. Those dual Berettas can be incredibly dangerous on the CT side. On pistol, well, that's a good shot from Moz, the player formerly of 7th Court. Well, that's a good response as well from 7am. They're pushing in aggressively. They're not going to let Sleeping Dogs lie as they push forward a little bit more and look for something a bit closer. And Husky with the spray down with these dual Berettas. A little bit messy, all things considered. Players pushing in to this A bomb site. And the bomb is going to go down. Linx Legacy in a 2 versus 3.
Yeah, now on the side. Ooh, that's a very kill coming through. Chris all alone. The Molly is on there. He can hold this off. The Dink is first. LVN. The IGL able to get the round winning.
Didn't buy enough time, but my word was that close as a start. Linx Legacy, they took that round, and they really took it. The 2 versus 3, it looked pretty unwinnable for them, all things considered. Health advantage was on the CT side, but I guess never say unwinnable. These teams can surprise you. And, well, with 7am getting that pistol round, they get the 1-0 on the board. They do draw the first blood, all things considered, round-wise. And, well, because that bomb went down, they're getting the full buyout from Linx Legacy as well to kind of counteract this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the norm, right? Getting the bomb plant, getting the force. And if you look at both buys, they are eerily similar in terms of SMGs. And first off, equal trade, Husky is with one back though. Husky, how is he already here? How did he already get there? That is a cleanup.
Yeah, just a single player on ramp, 7am. They've done a really solid job by avoiding that T-push. And that's the only way you can really win. That second round, once the bomb goes down on first, the weaponry, the economy is actually slightly better on the T side than the CT side. If you buy an M4, you can't get utility out on the CT side after winning. If you do decide to buy an MP9, you're going to have util, but you're going to be playing on an equal playing field, potentially slightly worse than those Galils. So 7am are lucky, skillful to win the second round. It certainly looked like it could have been closer. And Linx Legacy are now on just the Glocks, a Deagle on Lancelot and Moz, but they would need to do some incredible work to find more than just a single kill each. Yeah.
I mean, some dinks do scare vacancy. And, well, that's Husky. Well, that's a farm. Look at the cash that he's built up. It's 4.6k already. And, I mean, yeah, he got some money. He got some money. They're all in custom chairs as well.
Well, if you've got that much money, if you've got 4.6k, you can do what you want with it.
All right. Yeah. So keeping it clean, also very nice on the CT side.
It's one of the things that's way more important than getting the kills. CT side, the money is just not good. So if you can build it, if you can do that by staying alive, that's more important than anything. So well done from Husky to do so. 7k in the bank and staying on the MP9 as well, which some might see as a little bit greedy. But if they do drop this one, Linx Legacy win it 3-1, then 7am have a much better time of getting into it. They can pull out the AWP, and this is an aggressive play. Husky does lose his head, but pushing aggro on Moss really caught him by surprise, has dropped him down to 22 HP, and another player pushing into the angle. He has been spotted. 7am, they come out of that aggressive and passive now, Bush backing away. Linx Legacy, a player to the good. Despite that low HP, it doesn't really matter if he's still alive.
Yeah, 22. I mean, Linx haven't really, like they just kept their map control, and they are going. Oh, there is aggression actually. Chris, he might be fully ready for this. Oh, he is LVN with 2, but does it really matter? 3 versus 2 as Zai and Vacancy. Util pretty much equal, and I think Linx is gonna take their first round here.
We've seen a 3 versus 2 that looked close in the past.
So
calling it already is a bold choice. And a Caster's Curse seems like it might be on the horizon. 7am are going the wrong direction, though, so I may well be quite wrong. The M4s are much better to save than try and take a kind of futile attempt on the T side. It's just whether 7am see it as that. Generally can go a little bit more passive, won't go for these kind of hero plays. So smart from them if they do decide to back away. But Zai's just looking for something at this stage. No one seems to be going for it, and that smoke over actually does indicate that they're going to go for this and look for something. First player in Vacancy goes forward. The smoke and the Molotov stop players from peeking in, and that's A good spot from Vacancy. You've seen one in towards Donut. Vacancy as well. Gets one on Poseidon. Pushing around the corner. Gets another. Zai getting him, in fact, as Chris falls down. And it's only a single player left. Lancelot, he has to push forward. He has to get these kills. He gets it on Zai, but the bomb gets defused. At 7 AM, they take your fourth. Linx Legacy, how have they lost from that position? Isolated completely.
Yeah. They went the wrong way. They didn't go to a bomb site. And then they still get the retake. And I mean, these are the two guys that I picked for my fantasy team. So that clutch made me happy.
Yeah, it's saving you a little bit. We're supposed to be a bias sheet. We're not supposed to say these things.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, 7 AM have come back from just the brink of defeat there. They really shouldn't have come back from that. Linx Legacy, it's not just the fact that they lost the round, but mentally they have to be shot at that stage. They're in a 4 versus 5 at the start of the round. You know as a T side that you can control this map. You can play it a little bit more aggressively once you're in that 4 versus 5. The CT's already spread really thin. They go to the right bomb site at the end of things as well, trading those 1-for-1s, which is exactly what you want. And then they just had to replicate it. They just had to play the same. But that one smoke going down on long stopped them completely from trading off one another.
Yeah, that was horrible for them. And now they're at the entrance of middle. A Vacancy is the doorman. And he ain't letting them in. That is, well, it's even before they get to the door, he stops him. So this is a full gun round again for Linx Legacy. Like their economy was decent heading into that clutch that they lost. But I mean, going all through middle, such a play, it just misses a flashbang, right? It just misses like 1 or 2 flashes that go deep and hit red room and the room behind it. But it does allow Vacancy to get a pretty cheap triple kill, considering only some 20 HP has been lost.
And they're doing nothing as well with these last 10 seconds that are left. They're looking for some kills. They're looking for somebody to overpeak, but that spot out on the AWP may well be his demise. Shifting round, Lancelot does get 1 for his troubles. But these CT players, they've got the money to hunt for them and try and kill them after time. It's not impossible, but I think they're just playing it safe, playing it smart, and 7 AM take a 5th. Linx Legacy already struggling a little bit, and a tech pause comes through as well, which hopefully gives them a little bit of time to think things through a bit more as a 5 and talk through what their strats might be, because saving those weapons, the money that the rest of the team has, $3,500, it's not exactly great for them to buy around it. If they do buy around it, of course, they've got kind of a half buy coming through for 3 of the players. If they decide to eco, Chris and Lancelot aren't going to be able to buy in the next either.
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult position indeed, and yeah, I mean they are going for Galil, so they trust that 1 AK is going to be enough, and that 1 op from Chris. We haven't seen. Have we seen any op kills? We haven't seen any op kills yet.
We've seen ops, but no kills.
No kills yet. They have been carried uselessly as of yet. But of course, the threat is always there. But this is an often setup you see on Ancient, with teams just completely forgetting that the A bomb side exists. And I've seen a lot of T-side teams take advantage, just as Linx Legacy are doing now. Desperately, Yuko thrown in. Zai ahead of the smoke. Oh, he goes through, and that is a mistake. Duplo, the Danish, he gets that shot. And now 4 versus 3. Can we see another clutch? Do we?
I mean, it's always on the cards. It's always there. And Silence's position really opens the door for it. Gets the first on Lancelot, the player just swinging wide. Assuming it's an AK-47 there, and that's the benefit that not giving away these AWPs has done. They've not seen that there was an AWP involved at all from 7 AM. And so the retake in has found something. A single smoke may well be able to block off 2 players as they push forward. LVN gets 1. The bomb already looks like it's going to get defused. The players jump on it. 3 versus 2. The spray through from Duplo's missing as well. The bomb's defused by 7 AM. Linx Legacy again losing a clutch in this situation. And 7 AM are continually going onto that A-bomb site, continually retaking when they shouldn't be. And Linx Legacy aren't punishing.
It is such a bait, though. Like, oh yeah, no, we're making a mistake on our CT side. This is a mistake. We're not holding the A bomb site, and then 7 AM have just full confidence in their retakes, even man down, just knowing that Linx are gonna peek. And I mean, Linx Legacy I saw that in the game against Cardiff Pirates as well in the first half. They get close to having those rounds on the board in these first 6, but they lose it out in the clutches. Every time when they get to the bomb site, that's where they sort of start to crumble.
It's a shame, really, because it's the one point that's so important for a team. It's the most important part of the round, is that late round conversion. And you can sort of lose so much motivation. If you're dying early round, it's a tactical change to change it up. Late round is a lot of motivation is involved in that. It's a lot of individuals thinking about how they're able to come back from things like this. So it can really weigh in the heads of the Linx Legacy guys. You need a strong IGL and a strong coach to get you through that. And Husky just peeking into dark. He has spotted one out. 7 AM are able to maybe chance a rotate, but still not rotating anything more. I think now it's 100% confirmed that there is at least one player in here. That flash comes over, and I don't think he knew there were 2 in that position.
No, and Husky again, like, I love his aggression in Cave, but Cave is such an important position that LVN is willing to spray straight through smoke to try and defend the exit from it. Again, it's a bomb down. This time, Linx Legacy is the one with the man down. As Lancelot, equal trade, still man down. Situation doesn't really change, although Poseidon, he might find the timing on LVN here. Oh, he will with LVN. What a shot, Moz. 27 HP. Is that enough? It's 1 AK bullet needed to be hit. No AKs, of course, on the CT side. This is just going to be straight defuse. And just to add insult to injury, Zai straight through the smoke.
7 AM, living to their namesake as well, 7-0 up. So, yeah, clearly woke up early for that one. And when you look at this, it's just a demolition job almost. It's been close until the late round, and then 7 AM have been mopping up every single time. The cleaners come in, and they're finding kills every single time, pushing through middle vacancy. May well be caught out, pushing forward, finding one, spraying down a second as well, and looking for another, a third over the smoke. And well, a 5 versus 5 quickly turns into a 4 versus 2 as Lancelot does find one, but both these players are split up on other sides of the map. Duplo does get a kill on Silence though, and things are looking a little bit better for Linx Legacy, but somehow Husky has found his way in behind once again, and LVN on Lancelot. Duplo gets the
look
kill.
at the
That's
HP
a bit of a whiff.
from everyone. Look at the HP from everyone.
This is possible.
It is so. Oh, this is possible. Where's Bomb? The Bomb is still in spawn. They haven't yet checked it, and I don't think they will. As Vacancy and LVM both are holding middle, that op could be one of the danger carriers for the CTs. But Duplo, not an ace alert. It's two.
He's getting the kills if he peeks in here. He's getting
them.
They're not looking at him. No, he gets them. Linx Legacy. They get their first on the board. That was almost a whiff, though, Sheep. That spray was so close.
Oh man, that was real close. I think he was unsure of that the damage was actually done towards them with the way he was lining up that spray. Really going for the first guy, the back turned guy first. But yeah, what a clutch by Duplo. First on the board and the classic Brazilian scoreline. We're back here as Moz finally, oh look at that confidence. The Vacancy and Zai, the ones that have been causing so much trouble ever since that first clutch on the retake, instantly are the first to fall. Linx Legacy, I think they've caught some momentum. I think they've caught a wave. Don't think they're surfer dudes though, but they have caught a wave.
I mean, I feel they're embodying the surfer dude classic. You see so often a team come in, get one round, and then disappear. But Moz getting both of those kills on Zai and Vacancy has really eased it up for Linx Legacy. And 7-2 on the board looks a lot more promising than what we were seeing before. And really, by what we've seen in these last 2 rounds, they deserve it because they have looked good. And that late round comeback in the last one as well is so important for them because, again, they've been hemorrhaging those late round scenarios. They've been losing so many of them. It really was time for them to get one, and it does inspire the rest of the team to then make plays like Moz was making in the early round there. Luckily, it works for them. Luckily, he does get both those kills because if he just ran out and died, then, well, they feel like they're in the exact same scenario all over again. So 7-2, and the economy for the CT side is getting close to breaking. It's not quite there just yet. But meanwhile, the Linx Legacy side of things, they could lose this one and pretty comfortably by in the next, so I'm sure they're a little bit happy, at least for that one.
They're feeling nice. I think we're heading towards one of the few close halves we've seen early on in this game. And I mean, talk about 7am a bit before some AK shots going through.
Chris, I just got a USB.
Yeah. And Lancelot is all alone on A. Still, he's just carrying everyone with him. Look at all the CTs that he's baited out. This is the perfect I go A, you go B strat. There's no one. There's no one defending the bomb's already gone down.
Oh no! That's an AK lost. Vacancy. You're going to be happy with that one. And they're going for it. They're pushing into. Oh, the bomb's down. The bomb's down on B.
Bomb's down on B. Yeah, it was. It was a reverse fake. Reverse fake.
It faked out me. I could see everything. It's all on the screen for me.
I
missed it.
Yeah. I also only realized the bomb was down like 10 seconds after. I was like, wait, really? But yeah. 7am, they've been in good form. They entered some more tournaments. And they were able to play in the EPL playoffs, same where Viperio were playing. Of course, Viperio currently in a test phase of themselves. But the two opponents that 7am lost to in their group eventually finished 3rd and 4th in the EPL Season 9. So they got some close matches against them. They could have definitely made playoffs there. So that's going to be a bit of a rough one, but I think here the groups stages are typically a bit easier than they would be in some bigger international tournaments. But still, Linx Legacy are putting the pressure on.
I think it eases the blow as well when the team that you lose to it kind of ends up at the top ranks. If they get knocked out straight away after, you just think, oh, what could have been? Yeah. Legacy, they're already on the side. Side's actually not even ready for that as Moz swings wide. And the bomb's going to be allowed to go down on the A bomb site. 7am already on the retake. It's been retake after retake at the moment. Chris does overextend slightly as LVN finds one with the slow spray down. And 2 coming from CT Spawn, the other 2 coming in from Donut. Legacy are well positioned for this. The T side playing 1 in towards Donut, and that smoke down behind him as well does allow him to push forward. But Vacancy gets the kill on Moz, and I think it's going to be another ninja. They're spraying it down. It's only Duplo left. Oh! No way! He gets 3! He gets 3 in that position. The bomb gets tapped. The silence on the AWP. He's looking forward. He's working his way around. Duplo needs to not overthink. He needs to not overthink in this scenario. Somehow, with that triple spray down, he's managed to win it. 7-4 on the board. As Linx Legacy, they get an end game of their own. They get that late round. 7am, they've lost so close to the end.
What was that, man? I mean, come on. Duplo already getting a 4K and we were hyping him up, but it's 1 kill less, but it's so much more hype. What a continuation of the spray. And just confident that he just straight up through the smoke, man. Come on. He knew what was happening there. He read it like a book, man. Intense.
It's peak as well for LAN. That 7 rounds in a row where 7am have been demolishing in the late round. And then all of a sudden we see Linx Legacy come back and do the exact same thing to them. Yeah. The same retake strats, they're not going to work. That smoke goes down on the bomb. I'm just going to spray through it and kill 3 of you. You can't stop me anymore. That's all he's thinking. And, well, he's done it. 7-4. That's got to be a real hit and pride there for 7am.
I gotta feel bad for the admins now, because this momentum that Linx have right now, they are right next to the admin table, and the admins, I mean, they've probably put their headphones on now by the time they're in here now, because Duplo has given them reasons to scream, man. What a performance in Husky. Again, looking to be aggressive. They're not punishing Husky too much, which is, I think, a spot of opportunity for Linx Legacy, because now they're just running into LVN. Moz again with the early round trades. Moz has been very good in the early round. As I say that, Husky is the one being taken down. Equal trades, they're looking good, but Vacancy. Yep, double spray. They were trying to plant safely, and Poseidon can't even get the first one. Vacancy left on 1 HP.
It's a great reply. It's as good as it can be in that situation. 4 rounds on the board for Linx Legacy. They've got to do a little bit more than that to make it competitive going into the next half. Another pause comes through as well, which well timed for both of these two teams. They get a little bit of that opportunity to talk around the strats and change it up a little bit, because I don't know if you've noticed, I mean, you guys watching at home that is, but the terrorists have been going towards the A bomb site more than anything else, and B has really been where they've struggled. Early round, of course, 7am was shutting them down in the late round on that A bomb site. I said it about 100 times now, but I'll say it again. But yeah, the B bomb site's been a little bit difficult for them. The only time they've actually got there is when nobody's been on the site whatsoever. So This has very much been kind of a learning experience for them, and I think this pause gives them an opportunity to maybe assess why it's going wrong on B and why it's the harder site for them to take, because mid and A has really been their playground.
And I mean, it's been pretty much the default setup for like 90% of the teams to carry over with 3 onto the B bomb side, F2 on the side, 1 in cave, and yeah, as said just now, Husky, he has a lot of free space. We've seen him push ramp without any support, actually. Just push all the way around and get up right behind him. I think right on cue, Linx Legacy are now going to be prepared for a certain push from a dog named Player. Does he have that dog in him? He's currently on, let's see, 9 kills. So he's playing a decent game. LVN. Oh, he's going to catch them right on the smoke. Spray through again, I think. Husky, the aggression on the close ranges. Out of cave, he's been a menace towards them. Ah, Chris, that timing. You're gonna get rushed down by 4. Don't need to spray through a smoke. They'll show up. They'll show up, and they'll show up on the scoreboard as well. 9-4. A good recovery by 7 AM.
I mean,
I think those tech pauses really helped.
It's
them
been
with that.
all LVN and Vacancy so far as well. 16-5 and 15-7 respectively. These guys have been on fire so far in this game. And I've seen LVN get at least 3-4 kills through the smokes on the B-bomb sites. So just been awful for Linx pushing forward. They think that they're able to time it well. LVN will still spray them down, will still get the kills through. And it's not like he's waiting and thinking he's getting something more. He just sprays forward. He's done it again. He's got another one on Chris.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's still getting these in these positions. Just pushing through the Molotov into Zai. He's going to take those all day. T side with these P250s, these Glocks, I mean, they cannot make it easier for the CTs to find it. And there we go, Silence and Zai get the final 2 kills. 10-5, the best that Linx Legacy can find at this stage.
Yeah, but it was also somewhere around this scoreline. I mean, we talked about it beforehand, that you had Guard of Pirates, who also had a very good start. Of course, let's all be honest, the level, 7 AM, Guard of Pirates, usually you'd contest that they're at the same level. Yeah. But still, like Linx Legacy, I think they still have a lot of ability on the CT side. And I hope that they're going to do some pushes as Team 7M are going to do now. I love the double cave pushes. And 7AM have gotten away with it, which is something I really want to note. Like Linx Legacy have allowed Husky to have a lot of space, and they really haven't gone for a lot of cave control, as now they are sort of sandwiching him in, but it's the last round of the half. Cave control, in my opinion, the most important part on of playing Ancient, as they let Husky get away, and I imagine, with the way it's been going, I imagine a flash straight back in, and he's going to get for another peek, but they're going to rotate him away.
Swapped, a teammate's gone in there, and I think it's Silence sat there with the orb, just waiting for a player to come around the corner. Duplo does think better of it, but this could be a world of pain for either one of the 2 teams if they peek in here. If Silence goes without getting a kill, well, things look bad. If they don't go into cave at all and go up ramp, well, it could be very dangerous for him in a position such as that. Can get caught out very easily with a single Molotov. That position can be pushed out, but well, I've been saying all this. Linx have pushed through to CT spawn. They're already there going towards A. Husky has come in behind. He's going to get 2 in this situation. Vacancy actually chimes in with a kill of his own as 2 players pushing outside of A long with a player on site being a thorn in the side of the Linx Legacy push. It's only Duplo left, who's watched all of his teammates die. The bomb is down in the open, and with 10 seconds on the board, he would need a miracle to find the kills. He does not get that. And 11-4 ends up being our scores on the doors going into the second half.
Yeah, and looking at the scores, I mean, Linx Legacy, they did get the streak, but they had a lot more gun rounds that they just had the advantage to start off in early on in the half. To only have 4 on the board, it's decent. It is at the bottom end of what you want against Team 7AM, and this pistol is going to be mega important. Look at all the util that LVN is carrying. He's got his,
straight towards B as well. They're going fast through cave, it looks like, as players sprinting forward. The smokes, the Molotovs go forward on both of the two lanes, long and short, both smokes off, and it does allow all the players in here just to start planting that bomb. It's going to be a retake from Linx Legacy straight away. Chris does get a kill through the smoke on Husky, the player that was doing so much damage in that position, and the push through from Vacancy as well leaves a vacancy in the side of 7am. 3 players left on the T side. Zai does manage to find one at least, and Silence with another one as well on towards Moz. 7am with all the kills at this stage, finding them as the players start pushing forward. The early kills from Linx Legacy are being just completely dissipated. It's going. The advantage is gone. The bomb is starting to get defused. Linx Legacy just sticking onto it. I think they're going to get the bomb defused. They managed to get it. 7am, they've not managed to hold the bomb at all.
Olofmeister-esque as he straight into the defuse. Incredible clutch that. That was amazing to go for that. Just sticking it, trusting that the flames don't really burn you when you're at LAN. And luckily we haven't seen any flames at this LAN yet. You can see, Poseidon, this is good for his confidence because he only had 2 frags in the first half, and now a triple in 1 single round. So that is very nice for Poseidon, especially trying to hold that line. I mean, I'm curious because I've seen Team 7am have a pretty heavy reliability on middle as they get into those setups. But yes, they just clean up, get the second round, just easy. Like Lancelot the only one going down. 4 players alive from the CT side. That's very nice. They had Galils actually. I just seen that they picked up Galils. That was a full force.
And I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, no, it just
watching it happen in front of me. Honestly, I thought that was an eco round.
Yeah. It just went by, especially since it was Poseidon with the SMG getting all the frags. But yeah, they did go through, and Team 7am, Linx Legacy. I mean, I'm mostly looking forward to how Team 7am are going to respond to a lot of these setups from Linx Legacy, because I mean, this boy is just shooting a Duplo a bit. Full blind. I mean, you could give him a pass there. He couldn't see, so shooting his teammate, it ain't the worst thing.
Have they kept all 5 players alive both rounds?
No, they did lose Lancelot. Lancelot's the only one to die in the past 2.
It's done wonders for the money though. Poseidon on 7,000, and we're seeing an inverse really of what we saw last half. Obviously, Linx Legacy going to hope to get just as many rounds, but it would have been all over had they lost the first round or the force buy round. At that point, you can say, okay, 7am probably going to comfortably win this one. Instead, we're seeing something a little bit closer. And Silence on the AWP. While it looks like it's going to be very effective, the weaponry that we see from Linx Legacy indicates that they're going to try at least and play at a little bit kind of closer range, and that AWP may not come into the equation as much as you would hope. He is looking towards Temple first though, seeing if anyone peeks, but well, we can all see on our map that that's probably not going to happen unless Moz sprints all the way through.
And I think they were able to hear the rotates from Poseidon coming through into Cave, because they were already pretty far up, and that wall, it looks pretty wide, but in terms of hearing sound cues, it's pretty thin. So I think that's why they're falling back, because they heard like some util flying in and some footsteps coming in. So having a potential triple setup in Donut is not something you want to face when entering the A-bomb side, especially not against a Linx Legacy team that I know will support flash each other. And then you have 3 single peaks, all from going straight through a smoke. Vacancy able to find a curious Poseidon, who now is drowning in the spectator cam of his teammates. Still the man advantage. So he has all 4 players to switch through. Now Moz joins him in that mid-round afterlife, as you can call it.
It looks so desperate for 7am for a second, but all of a sudden Linx Legacy immediately on the back foot. Duplo does get one, but Zai has to get all of them at this stage and doesn't get it. The players coming from opposite angles. Linx Legacy, they've done work with that bomb dropped on the ramp in the open in that way. It really made 7am overthink. Yeah. And I mean, just in the last round, Cheap, the way 7am are playing, I know that you've watched them a lot more than I have, and they're a team that you're kind of more invested in. When you see them play, the passive kind of play from them on the T side is really quite interesting. They're looking towards A, looking towards mid, and then going B.
Yeah, and I might say something that is not very favorable with them, because that is when I see them trip on the T side, when I see them sort of trip and stumble and sort of have those kind of mistakes, that is usually when the rounds are set up a bit slower. And it's not that they're really banking on a first opening pick, but they rely on some information. And I think this time it could have worked out, but Linx Legacy were just kind of ready. And I think the spot from Poseidon, even though he dies straight on onto vacancy, that information was worth its weight in gold, because he just straight up goes down. But then they confirm, like, yes, everyone is going towards B, and they could just lock him in. And now it's just Tech9s again. I say just Tech9s. Husky with a tech, still finding someone. Bomb is getting planted, so at least some money, because I don't really think, yeah, this round is not going anywhere. Vacancy, 1 versus 4, Tech9 only. Oh, oof, okay. Whew, okay. That is, that is lucky. I thought that would get out of hand for Linx Legacy, but still 3 kills against CT side. The money has been built up nicely.
Yeah, it's solid from a T side to just, you know, looking into the economy. I'm sure anybody watching that the EPIC39 stream is very cognizant and aware of the CT side economy and the way that it works. But just to top up, a reminder for you: if you keep 3 players alive as a CT side, generally your money will stay the same or slightly increase. If you're instead having 4 players alive, it'll get way better, 5, and it's getting out of control. But if only 2 players survive or less than that, even if you win the round, your economy is going to get worse and worse and worse, to the point where if you only have 2 players alive over and over again, you can be reset by a single round. You can be on FAMASes, you can be on scouts and things.
You can be resetting wins.
Through. Yeah, it's
I've seen it happen.
Wild just how bad that CT side is.
Yeah. And it's not as bad on Ancient as it is on Vertigo. Like I feel for a reason. I think that's why most people don't really like Vertigo. It's so much more difficult to keep control over the CT side, so you can get a lot of T side streaks. So if you have a strong T side, I mean, look at Into the Breach when they were going for the major W, the major top 8. They played a lot of Vertigo, and that's just because with Cypher they had such a dominant T side. Your only chance of stopping it is having a double op setup, full util. Then you have somewhat of a chance. If you even lack like a single smoke, a single flashbang, you're done on A ramp on Vertigo. And that's what personally, I'm okay with the map, but that's why I think most people don't really like Vertigo.
You say this in the presence of UKCS, my friend.
Yeah, that is true.
This is
the
Vertigo
home is the
Vertigo.
home. Yeah, that is true. But I know overall it's seemingly a dislike map. I've read.
I mean, I think the map that I've seen most people say, I've been going around the LAN hall talking kind of about the maps that people want in and out the pool. Most people have been saying, listen, we do all 7 maps, but Inferno, boring map.
Yeah.
We're not going to play it because it's so boring. You just chuck util down for the first 20 seconds of the round. You throw all your util on CT side. Then the Ts reply with all their util, and then people actually start playing the map. So I think there's generally a bit of a disdain for that one here, more than any of the rest. I kind of enjoy it, but also they are right. It is just kind of, throw in util for the first 40 seconds and then see what sticks.
And we still have a bit of a tech pause, of course. We don't know what the issue is just yet, but hey, we'll deal with it. Something that got mentioned by Index actually is currently, I don't know the actual score, but currently Binman Internationals are up, or were up 9-7 against Royals. So if you're following at home, looking at the on the epicland.com site, where you can see all the scores, all the results, and of course you can, if you know some of the players, you can always ask them on Steam, which I've seen happen during the games when standing behind the players. But that could potentially be one of the first real upsets that we're going to get here on the EPIC39.
Yeah, it'd be a big upset to see that one come through. And yeah, I mean, both teams will obviously make it through regardless, but or I say regardless, probably. But yeah, you love to see kind of those little I guess it's more ego than anything else in the group stage, right? That's really what you love. And, you know, if you aren't here at this Epic LAN, I will say in person is really, really lovely. And seeing the kind of BM that you get across the LAN hall, I was told by 7am and Linx Legacy that they're going to get a little bit louder as we go through the tournament, especially as they play against better opposition. And Gplo pushing aggro first. He has taken control of this position. Husky very aware of it, just shifting forward, and there's actually 3 players in this spot. They rely on a single player holding through Dark. So Linx Legacy in middle. If it crumbles on Dark, they could lose 2 players, he says, as both of those players vacate middle.
Yeah, and I think that is actually quite the decent choice to do that. They realized, okay, we might be a bit low in util, which I don't really know how they are already low on util in this round.
Oh my word.
Yeah, because Chris still has like 8k. So either they've dropped it to throw later in the retakes and they're all behind on B, which is often the case on the CT side rather than on the T side. But like, I get that you fall away there because get sandwiched there, lose 3 players round is guaranteed done. Lancelot able to smoke off the entrance towards the cave as Team 7am, they're going for the same strat, nearly the same strat, just around.
Yeah, all 5 players are pushing in and they're going aggro. Husky getting 1, Vacancy with another, and Zai with a 3rd. The B bomb site's fallen, and both of the CT-sided players know better than to go for that. That was an incredible attack from 7am. Just a little bit of util, push forward, and well, that's the team play coming through there. They finally pick up another round, and they finally get their first of the second half.
And we've seen that exact side take be attempted in the round where Chris got the ninja defuse straight in the smoke, and even a couple rounds after, right? It's some rounds where Team 7am, that is one of their like main executes to go for. Just smoking the areas, gambling on that when you molly the entrance to cave, that they're gonna put the smoke on top, because you can pretty much count on that, right? That Lance is in that position, he is gonna smoke that. And they bank on that beautiful read. Flashes fly over, everyone was full blind. I think they got a bit of a tan there as well. Of course, everyone's sitting inside the entire day, but so many flashbangs, I think the face can get a bit tan.
My favorite clip is, I think it's Get Right, is it? That's the flash comes through and he looks away from the screen as it comes over. I absolutely love that, the players, when they get invested in the game in that way. But yeah, so much util expended at the start, and I think it's a lot of it is to do with the way they're playing middle, which obviously a very important spot to take. But 7am have clipped onto this. They know that they just throw a couple of flashbangs, a Molotov, and well, you know, they can retake map control. Linx Legacy, they've pushed them in, they've hemmed them in at this point, but just moved towards the natural other position, which is over towards the A bomb site. And Linx Legacy, they've thrown all their util all over the rest of the map, and now they have to retake with very limited util. They've got a smoke, they've got a Molotov and a flash, but that's really it, as Chris getting 1, but Zai with 2. And drop down low on HP. Poseidon may well be able to get him through the smoke, spraying forward, lucky not to push through. I think he was really hoping that he should. The AWP gets the kill on Poseidon, and it's only Duplo left. The 1 versus 4 position. He's done incredible stuff in the past before, but I mean, 3 sides, a triangle around him, equilateral from all angles. And 7am, they get 13 on the board. They bring that discrepancy of rounds up to 4. And, well, rightly so. They were the better team in that one. And I don't think really thought out by Linx Legacy on where the natural spot for the 7am players to go in towards was, because they were smoked off everywhere else on the map except A.
Yeah, and as you mentioned perfectly, right, it's you use so much util getting control over middle, and they just run into A, and you feel kind of stupid sometimes when they just straight up run into A. And now just cleaning up the distance, I'm looking likely to get number 14. Linx Legacy would love a 15-50 now.
I think they're hoping for more. I mean, they've ecoed into this one, not because they massively have to. I mean, some of them could be able to buy something. Poseidon, oh no.
He gets it.
Okay.
He's stabilized.
You know what? That's okay.
That's okay.
You know, Poseidon has 4,200 in the bank, so he could get something in this round, but clearly deliberately left that aside so that he can drop Chris the AWP and then, you know, keep him on that, and then the M4s were going to be quite useful. I think Lancelot playing on this AK like this is because he knows that the damage to the T economy is a lot better than saving it at this stage, because they can't really afford to lose another round. They're really going for the 16-14, I think, in the way that they've decided to keep their economy tight, keep it the way it is, and then next round when they've got, what, $4,600 in the bank, they can go for a full buy and try and keep players alive and do everything that they can. But as I've been saying this, a train of 7am players are pushing it towards Lancelot. I don't know if he's going to be able to survive for all that long.
You see him turning around on the minimap. He is aware, his ears pointed, his sword drawn, I should say. As,
Not in the land hall.
What? Yeah, no, not in the LAN hall. I mean,
You can't be doing that in the land hall.
I hope not, but it
Do
was
that
a
in the privacy of your own home.
Oh, not that. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was referencing his name with like the whole Royal Knights team, Lancelot. Well, okay, let's just move on from that one very quickly. Well, 7am. Now they take mid. They leave mid open as Linx Legacy. Oh, Vegasy, that is such an outrageous spray. Zai already with a double straight in. What do? Linx Legacy, you see the op. What? Chris, it's still two versus three. Bombs dropped in the middle of the site. Okay, 1 versus 3, 13 HP. I am gonna say now, this is impossible, just so I can be surprised later if it is.
The player coming in. Oh, well. Misses the AWP.
Okay.
Husky coming in behind. That's important. And it's exactly what he did on the opposite side when he was playing through Cave.
Yeah. In a limit, most players have like a limit of outrageous shots you can hit with an AWP, and that first one, that return flick towards Cave, that was one of the ridiculous shots in the round, and then the turnaround to the other one is wasn't yet possible. 15-9. I'm gonna repeat myself. I think Linx Legacy would love a 15-15 right now.
This is the moment, yeah.
This is the moment they'd love to go for it.
6 rounds between them as well, and the weaponry that they've got. I said about how they'd forced through in the last one, or ecoed through in the last one, to guarantee that they had the weaponry coming into this, but this is pretty dire as far as the weaponry goes, as far as the util goes as well. It's only Chris with anything of note. The M4s and the MP9s. I mean, it's not impossible. A Deagle can do pretty decent damage, especially when he's pushing in like this. Finds one, looking for another. Spraying forward. Vacancy does find the kill. Drop down low with 3 versus 4 and all 3 of the players on the wrong bomb site. This is going to be, I don't want to say impossible sheet, but this is going to be an impossible retake, I think.
Yeah, every time I watch a round like this, I think back to the Deagle nerf that they put in, because it's that 10 HP that they changed, and you know, you'd be looking at a 4 against 3 with a weapon picked up. They've made it a lot easier on the T side, but 7am, good recovery. Like their free setups looked a bit weird, but now they are looking really strong. Zai has had an amazing T-side half. Poseidon 1 versus 2 is the only thing that can stop Team 7am from winning the 3rd game as well. 16-9 over Linx Legacy. It was a dominant victory in the end. We had a very, very, very close middle game, and yeah, it was a very enjoyable game. We saw some great rounds. Duplo.
Yeah, Duplo really showed up for Linx Legacy and looked good as well, even though they lost. I mean, I think the scoreline maybe doesn't reflect just how good they were as a team. I mean, you know, we were sat here comfortable as you like as well. I mean, I have to say it. We'd sat here in, you know, some of the most comfy chairs I think I've ever
just
been
gonna
in.
lean over a bit. Just, you know, you can even sit comfortable and lean in these chairs. It's beautiful.
We throw to the most non-forced break ad of all time with Noble Chairs, of course, sponsoring this event. EPIC39 brought to you by the great guys over at Noble Chairs. Very useful as well for our nice little chairs as we've been watching this. But I must say, that 16-9 I don't think is so complimentary to Linx Legacy, who looked themselves quite solid across all of that.
Yeah. I'd look more over to 16-13, but we might get that up in the next game, which we will head over to next after the small break. Next in line versus Al Fatiak. It was, try to pronounce it right. It's meme after meme after meme I have to pronounce, but it will be the game right after the break. So we will head over there 5 minutes around that time, and then we'll be back with game number 4 of EPIC39 group stages. We'll see you there.